Welcome to the Thin Blue Line Outdoors Podcast.
This pig came bottling.
Just ended up puking last night. It sucked.
Whoa! Ah! We gut it, we wrap it in tinfoil, throw it over the fire.
Line Outdoors Podcast, episode 77 with Jesse and Harky. I'm going to let those two do most of the talking. I'll just jump in when Jesse screws up, which I'm sure will be often.
Already.
But yeah, I'm going to let them take over from now. But again, podcast 77, I'm super excited to be recording this. Go ahead, Jesse.
Well, hey, all you cool cats and kittens out there listening to this nice podcast.
Is Emily okay?
I am very
a tiger, right?
Yes, we're solid. She's still alive, so it's good.
That's good.
Super excited to have our guest Harky on today. Somebody been wanting to get on the podcast for a while, but just finally asked him the other day and got on the books. So Harky is somebody that I knew not only from college, but we also went to high school together. Is actually a big portion or big reason why I went to Eureka College. And without that move, I wouldn't have met Boom and kind of been part of this whole thing. Harky was also one that got Ryan and I our first kind of hunting experience, we'll call it, going down some dove hunting. And we actually did some waterfowl hunting with him on Henderson Creek. But he's a great friend, have lots of laughs, lots of things that we've done together that we probably don't remember or wish we could forget. But we've had hell of times. But I want to get him on here because he knows more about hunting, just is an avid outdoorsman. And I think you guys would want to hear his story. So, Harky, introduce yourself, what you do, and kind of your background here, man.
So, yeah, Josh Harkness, Harky by most people. I'm a probation officer. I've been doing that for about, I don't even know if I want to say 11 years now.
So this is the whole pipeline we have going on here. My current role is to slow the clients of Cody over here. And then unfortunately, if I don't do my job and then Cody has to do his job, well, then now Harky gets involved post jail time and has to handle them on the probation side.
And then sometimes we just send them back to Cody.
This is the circle of life here. This is literally what's going on. Sorry to interrupt.
No, yeah, you're good. That's a good example. And now I completely forgot what I'm supposed to be doing, but yeah, I've been
Probation
doing
officer. I got that. Yeah.
11 years. I started hunting. I took my hunter safety course when I was 8 years old. Probably started going in the woods with my dad when I was about 6. Mm-hmm. And then a few years back, 7 years or so ago, we decided we didn't want to live in Illinois anymore and moved to Colorado.
I don't blame you there at all, man.
Took a little bit longer than you, but yeah, now out of the state of Illinois as well. So when you were getting into the woods, 6-year-olds and stuff like that, what kind of was your guys' primary hunting you did back then?
My family always starts you out on dove, rabbit, squirrel, a lot of the upland type of stuff. Is kind of where I would just tag along with Dad. I really ended up wanting to do it because Dad went on a deer hunt when I was little with his cousins, and they'd come back and they always had their stories and talked and had fun. And I want to do that, so I started telling them I wanted to, and that's kind of where he waited for me to show an interest, and that's where we went.
Got it. So then I know growing up, you always were big on that waterfowl hunting. And that kind of continue with it. One thing that I never forgotten about was the first time that we did go out, Ryan and I and you, dove hunting, was we were talking about all these hunts that Ryan and I wanted to do. You know, we were very, very green at that point in time. But you're the one that kind of said, like, look, you can be a waterfowl hunter, or you can be a deer hunter, or you could be a millionaire and you can be both. But where you're at right now, you kind of got to go one way or the other, and that's something that's just stuck with me because, like, at times, like, now I'll be able to like go out waterfowl hunting here and there and be deer hunting here or there, and now I'm looking at them like, shit, he was right. I ain't got time to do both. Or the money.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most rewarding hobbies you can have. But I mean, it's the investment, especially starting out. Like, I encourage all people. We have a great store here locally where I live called Resport, and people just anything they outgrow, don't want, they put in there. I mean, it obviously doesn't sell firearms, but you can get your kid outfitted for $20 head to toe and be good to go. So I encourage people to hit up stores like that to get into anything.
Nice.
But I mean, if you're going to start making a run at this and like every day, every weekend hunter, you kind of really got to choose a path or connect with the right people. Like if you got a buddy that primarily always waterfowl hunts, hook up with him for a couple hunts. But the way I was raised and kind of how I've seen you guys doing it is if you hook up with Cody for a waterfowl hunt, you're going to reciprocate that down the road with a turkey, deer lease, whatever you have going on. And that's kind of just how you build the community.
Right. So growing up, Harky and I did not grow up in Central Illinois. We grew up more, I guess, West Central Illinois on the Mississippi River. And that's where a lot of your hunting experience is at, right? Is with what all did you hunt off of that river when we were growing up down there in high school?
Oh man, we hunted. I mean, obviously big into waterfowl. We hunted geese. I hunted rabbit, dove, really any migratory thing. We did squirrels as well. We actually paid for our duck hunting. I don't know if I ever told you this. Our duck blind growing up, where we used to hold it, we paid for it in squirrels.
Please do tell.
There's so quick backstory. My grandpa grew up in Bartonville, Illinois. Grandpa grew up there. He lived with my mom and grandma and all them in Peoria for a while. They had a house fire that burned their house completely down. So they transitioned from Florida from Peoria out to where we lived on the Mississippi. And that's where grandpa just started making connections. Well, the lady he made friends with who had a backwater, we had one of the best spots. It was a backwater off the Mississippi, so it got fed from the river. But then we had a creek that ran to it too. So late season, when I was growing up, we had the only open water come late December because that creek would just turn that water and keep a hole open for us. No ice heaters, no nothing.
Huge. Yeah.
And that actually feeds into another conversation where I'm like, make friends, especially with trappers, because what ruined our hunting spot was a beaver. A beaver came in, started damming up the creek, and I didn't know any trappers at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That spot dried up like that because river changes, flow changes. But
allegedly, dynamite works. Allegedly,
I've heard rumors.
Yeah.
For beavers?
Yeah.
Yep.
Going down.
That's how we got started. I've dabbled when I was in Central Illinois. I dabbled in turkey.
What was the squirrel fee? How many squirrels?
So we literally just hunted we'd go squirrel hunting. We'd shoot as many squirrels as she could eat through a year. I mean, she wasn't a big eater. She's a little lady. Like, you had to be. When I remember doing this, I was like 10 years old. Okay. So in my mind, she's like 120 years old. Probably more like, late 50s, early 60s.
You're just happy she wasn't like, leave the kid with me and then we'll call it square.
Oh, you have
Like
no idea. Like my first recollection of her was this bony hand reaching through a screen door. I ran. Like I was supposed to be doing like a fundraiser with Dad.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, yeah, go to Miss Apple. This little hand comes out. I'm gone. Like, nope. I failed. I'm out. So, but
I don't want to hunt anymore, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
We'd shoot ranging 15 to 30 squirrels a year for her, gift them over to her. Okay. I mean, we obviously clean them up, processed them for her, and
I bet she knew how to cook a squirrel.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I guarantee you, like if you're asked for payment in squirrels,
oh yeah,
like
I want that recipe.
Yeah, that's the one I want cooking my squirrels too.
Exactly.
Wow, I think it just goes back to show too, like you said, that connection that your grandpa made going from Peoria down to where we grew up, knocking on doors or just finding those people and then being able to trade that. Like, I'll give you 30 squirrels if you let me do my waterfowl hunting here. I'm not sure you could do that nowadays. You might be able to trade venison meat for some property. Not up here, not where I'm at. Everybody's hunting. But it's not 15 to 30 squirrels, I'll tell you that for anything. Hell, you probably couldn't even get squirrel hunting land for that, for trading squirrels out.
Well, that's pretty well unheard of anymore. I mean, the unfortunate part about hunting, especially in the Midwest, is like everything's lease. Everything's paid to lease. I mean, the old style of knock and talk and, hey, if I can hunt your place, I'll, exchange it for meat. That's kind of dying out and I can't blame guys. I mean, you're a farmer who's done that for years. There's always the bad seeds. What the 5% of people out there, they tear up the field, drive their trucks back there, all that junk.
Respect it. That's the
So,
thing. Yeah.
They can either do that for you, or the guy that came in like, hey, I got $500 right here. Let me hunt this weekend. Or, hey, we want to lease this field out. If I pay you $1,500 for the season, are you good with that?
Get this. I won't name drop the spot because we have a team member who leases it, so I don't want to ruin his spot. But we got a property very near me. They have several pits. I don't know how many pits are on the property. $5,000 for the year to waterfowl hunt, and they get it. They get it. Every pit's full. Now they split that $5,000 among I forget if it's 4 or 5 guys per pit. But yeah,
right.
Still, that's
you got the group to do it. I've just. God,
I don't do that. To me, that's steep. That's steep.
Well, it's real steep. And the other sad part is like, how many high school kids want to get into these sports?
Yeah.
They don't have anybody that can mentor them. They don't have a family member who's been doing it for years. Like, that's impossible. How do you get into it? I mean, public land in Illinois is so limited. And also, I mean, for a 16-year-old that doesn't know what they're doing, is dangerous.
Well, it's a great transition to talking about the mentoring, because one thing that you guys have heard on the podcast or anything that Ryan and I've been on is that, we're both still pretty green into this hunting world. We didn't grow up doing it. Like when Harky's out there waterfowling or getting a squirrel count for Old Lady Winter or whatever. I wasn't hunting at that time. That was not something we did in my family. So then post-college and things like that, I meet my wife, meet Ryan. We're both like, yeah, we want to try this hunting thing. Harky's the first person I called. Boom was the second. But Harky said, come on down. We'll do a dove hunt. I mean, exactly like he said, his family started with him, was going to dove hunt. And let's just say that was an adventurous weekend. Some British guy and me and Harky rolling around Henderson County.
So I misunderstood your guys' initial conversation that day. Did I ever tell you this? So first off, I'm coaching at the time. We had like a 3-hour travel night that Friday night. You guys roll in hot and heavy Saturday morning at like 4 a.m. I'm pretty sure I told you to be there at 6. And you're knocking on my front door at like 4 a.m.
Because I'm pretty sure no, that would have been a Boom one. No, where I coached a football game that night. Ryan rolled in late into town, and we're like, well, there's no way we're too excited. We can't sleep. Let's just drive there now. So we've done that a time or two. Where
they always show up early. There's been multiple times where I'm like, I'm going to wake up an hour before them. I remember there's one time I wake up it's an hour and a half before they were supposed to be there. I look out my bedroom window, and I can see the headlights coming. I'm like, and I'm still in my underwear.
These guys roll in. So I forgot that Jesse told me Ryan was British. So 4 a.m. I can't think straight. I'm dead tired. Like you just said, I'm in my underwear. Like I'm pulling clothes on, trying to let these guys in. And all of a sudden they roll in and Ryan's just talking with an accent. And my internal thoughts was straight to 60. I'm ticked. I'm going, y'all woke me up at 4 a.m. when I told you to be here at 6, and this dude's going to mess with me by talking in the British accent. And I about blew up. And then it just self-regulated, like something just clicked in my head. Oh, wait, no, he's British. He's like, okay.
Because that is something I would have done just to fuck with you. That is something I would have done.
I misunderstood your guys' conversation because I was tired, because you started talking about hog hunts. And I thought Ryan had legitimately been on a hog hunt. So I'm sitting back going.
Ready at that time?
I think he might have. I think he actually did go on the
Okay.
hog hunt.
But I'm sitting there at the time like hog hunt. Like nobody just jumps straight into hunting in a hog hunt. Like you start small, work your way up. So I'm like, okay, he's done some things, right? He's done something. My fault. Should ask more questions. I didn't.
No. Yeah.
So of course, the first thing I do when we go hunting, I left you two go wander off on your own.
Mistake number one.
Yeah, that was mistake number one. Because they leave and all of a sudden I hear pop, pop.
Now,
I'm
time out before we can go any further. Boom. Who do you think the pops are coming from?
Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay.
The man's not here to
100%.
defend himself, but we all know.
Mhm.
We all know how he is. Or
He
what.
about shot my cat last summer.
What?
He's a little trigger happy.
Yeah. So Kelsey's my wife. One thing I can tell you guys, if you want to have a long, happy marriage and hunt a lot, get your wife into hunting with you. Like we have
I'm a vegetarian.
Work on that, Jesse.
yeah, we gotta. But like, first off, more women need to be in the sport, and like she's one of the best hunting partners I've ever had in my life. She's actually a harder driver than I am at times. I got to like reel her back. Like she's wading out, getting that water a little too close to the top of those waders. I'm like, come here. So
Hey,
Kelsey and I go
blink twice if you got a gun to your head.
Yeah. Are you okay?
So we go walk and try to find these guys, right? Come up, I'm like, hey, sweet, y'all hit it? Like, and the first words out of their mouth is, well, we think it was a dove. We shot at it.
I knew it.
Like,
I knew that's where you're going.
Like, Kelsey looks at me wide-eyed. I'm staring at them going, what do you mean you think it was a dove?
I knew it.
So they're like describing it to me, and I go, did you hit it by chance? Like, where's this thing at? And they were like, oh, no, we completely missed. And I went, oh, thank you, Lord. So I think throughout that day, Jesse, we hunted about 2-3 more places.
Yep.
So it's getting into the day. I know one more way to go get some doves. I'm driving and listening to these two talk. It becomes very apparent to me. They've been hunting these birds all day and have zero idea what they look like. So I stop on the side of the road. I point. They're like, what are you doing? And I go, what do you mean, guys? We're surrounded by doves right now. And they're like, where? And I go,
what do you mean? Where's the
see
dove?
the things on the power lines? Yeah. I'm like, that's all doves. There's like 50 of them in a row. In unison, you get this, oh. And I went, okay. Note to self, next time they hunt here, they have a babysitter.
Yes. And we did, because we went
Yes.
waterfowl hunting with you guys one more time.
Oh, yeah.
And that time we had you, Kelsey, Matt, and then Ryan and I.
Did you ever tell Cody what kind of chairs you brought hunting with you?
No, that's what's going to get there next, though. See, we're all about learning lessons, Ryan and I, on what not to do. And we share those lessons with you all here. Like, not knowing what the animal looks like that you're hunting for before going. That's a lesson. Don't do that. You need to check out that beforehand. But on the way down, we left so early that we forgot to pack our chairs for the blind.
I already know. I bet I could guess.
So then we went to Walmart and we bought folding chairs.
Yep.
What do we have? Like pink and blue?
I knew it.
Yeah.
Red?
I knew they were going to be bright
Something like
colors.
that?
Yeah.
Like these
Bright
brightest
colors.
ever. And the first one to notice it was actually Kelsey. They come because I think we got the spot first, and I was texting you how to get to where we were going to be at.
Yes.
And at the time, the way we scouted this is we couldn't find a spot where we could like get on this public land and hide up into some brush. So we're literally out in the middle of nothing. And I'm like, as long as we don't move, it's dark. We had some good overcast first thing in the morning. I'm like, we'll be okay. Except for these two come just tramping in. First off, you can hear them talking the entire way.
Yeah.
Like I heard them before I could see them. And then Kelsey goes, you're kidding me. And I'm like, what? She goes, look what they're carrying. And from probably 300 yards out, all we see is these blue and red like flashes as they're walking towards us right at shooting light. And yeah, we're all just sitting there shaking our heads. Well, and the kicker of it is where Jesse about, not going to lie, internal thoughts, I almost Dick Cheney Jesse. We're sitting there. We have birds that worked us at least 3 times, but I could not get them to commit. Mm-hmm. And just out of desperation, I'm like, I'm going to take off this hoodie. Like, and this dude looks at me and goes, well, aren't you going to be mad if it's that hoodie that was flaring him? And I'm just staring at him in his red chair going, yeah, Jesse, I am. So I don't think I said anything to you until we got through with the hunt. I think we're back at the trucks, and I go, dude, you ever show up with a red that kind of game?
Because we ran into your mom, and your mom goes, how was it? We go, well, we didn't get any. She goes, nice looking chairs you guys got there. And Ryan goes like, oh. Harky goes, yeah, you can't bring those chairs again anymore, fellas. Like, nope. Mm-hmm. We got pointed out by Mama Hark about our brightly colored chairs right before it. So yes, very much so. Lessons learned. We've grown a little bit since then, guys.
Yeah, you have.
Maybe not in the waterfowl world,
just a little.
I haven't gone, but yeah, no, that was so. Harky kind of saw the worst of us. Boom then saw a little bit better version of the worst of us, and then I would. Knock on wood, we've gotten better as we went on. A lot
I would
of
say that first time you guys came deer hunting, not turkey hunting, because turkey hunting, other than Ryan's miss, it was pretty not bad. But I know like you guys had was it Ryan's bow that broke? I think yeah, it was Ryan's bow. Brian's bow that broke that we had to get fixed, and a couple other things. But yeah, no, you guys have been pretty solid.
It's knock on wood.
Yeah, don't mess it up.
No,
don't get stupid.
I've been watching the show. I've been watching all your guys' stuff. Like, you guys have definitely matured as outdoorsmen since that first time. So yeah, I would say definitely you guys are doing great.
No more bright chairs.
No more bright
chairs. So yeah, we went from there now to deer hunting Illinois, and I'm trying to figure out this Wisconsin landscape. But I can't imagine going from Midwest hunting. Now you're out west hunting. Like you're in a whole different kind of ball game out there. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's looking for you? What trips you've been on? What have you learned so far out there?
So far, I mean, waterfowl hunting, nothing is going out here is going to be like Midwest Flyway. I got a couple of good spots that are real great early season, but I can burn them out real quick. Yeah. The issue is well, I mean, you know, Midwest, Mississippi Flyway, you grew up on that river. That's a culture. Like you're running with 50 guys to the duck blind drawing. Everybody's putting their name in for one spot on the river. And out here, everybody just dabbles in duck hunting. So I call them the duck commander group, where they come in, it's bright blue skies, no wind, and they are hitting the highest pitched hail call you could ever hear. And I'm sitting here going like, dude, hit them with a feed chuck, calm it down. Like they will come in. But they shoot at everything with wings. So stuff gets burned out quick. So we have a few good hunts first thing in the season early. Yeah. Then it kind of dies out. So the hunting's definitely not the same as far as waterfall. I have a big reservoir near us that I want to exploit, but I'm going to have to get my New Mexico license too, because I can go by boat, I can go about 3 miles, and then I'm in New Mexico.
I did not even understand what part of Colorado you're in, because I was thinking you were nowhere near that.
Cody knows about the area.
Yep. Yeah, because we talked about when I went elk hunting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're in the mountains, man. Like, so far out here, done some elk hunting. I have not done any mule deer, but I'd like to. I'm 50-50 on bear and predator hunting. I don't know where I stand on that. I'm not going to lie. The first time
didn't Colorado just ban mountain lion hunting?
No, there's something on the ballot. So the one thing they were trying, the big push they were having is to get rid of hounds.
Okay.
Because a big thing out here for lion hunting is you run hounds, the hounds tree them, you walk up, you check, okay, that's Big Tom, we're good, and you take your animal. But, animal rights activists, they see it, they don't understand how much of a cleaner hunt that is versus, all right, now we got a guy taking a guess from 150 yards and hoping that's the right animal. A lot of people don't understand.
Like, just have two random ass people walking through shooting at random ass birds thinking they're doves.
Exactly.
You just never know. If we would have had a dog that could maybe tree those birds for us, give us better identification, we would have been golden.
Sorry, my dog only brings it back after you hit it.
Your dog.
That's why you never saw it work
too. Yeah, your dog was so mad at us that day.
Mm-hmm. My labs they back talk. Like if you shoot, you don't. If you shoot and you don't send them out to work, they will lay down going. Yeah.
That's funny. Sorry, yeah, I heard the mountain lion thing recently on a different podcast, and I was just like,
so no, there's a push. There's a push by activists right now to get rid of lion hunting. There really is, and I mean there always is until those predators run out of food and territory and roll in and steal Fluffy off the back porch. Like then all of a sudden they want to know what can be done by CPW. It's just the ups and flows of it. So that's why sportsmen need to pay attention and, voice.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But
so then you're more in the western part of the state then.
Southwestern.
Southwest. Well, yeah.
I am west of the Continental Divide, but I can easily actually, if you ever want to do the Continental Divide Trail, Pagosa is one of the stops people use. They hit the top of Wolf Creek, come down, load up at Walmart, and go back up.
Got it. Okay. So then what are you using for your elk that you're going out there with? Like what's your setup that you got going on for yourself?
So right now I just call it, the working man's setup. Just a Remington 270. Nothing fancy. Stock everything. Yeah. We didn't know how we like it. I mean,
yeah, right. It's a whole new world for you. You know what I mean? Because here in the Midwest, you're doing your big game. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. You're in a tree stand or you're in the blind. You know what I mean? But out there, you're huffing it. Like you're going miles.
And I think the area, Cody, if you guys go elk hunting, it's northern Colorado.
Steamboat Springs area. I don't remember the unit we were in, but that's where we were at both times I went. I don't know. We were supposed to go this year, but then I had a bear hunt opportunity come up again, and then Kyle, who was supposed to go with me, he just got hired by us, so he's starting to me here soon. So now we're in the future, and then I got like 5 preference points for Wyoming right now. So I'm I'm waiting to pull. I don't know what I want to go to yet, but I know Wyoming's supposed to be cream of the crop elk hunting. So try it out.
Another one people tend to forget about is northern New Mexico. I have seen some amazing elk roll out in northern New Mexico, the Chama, New Mexico area.
Yep, I've definitely heard of that. I heard though it's a lot of points to draw. I have not put any points in for that yet.
Chama is, and you also got to be careful because a lot of reservation land out here. So especially where I live, you got to pay attention to your GPS because you cross over that magical line and it's not good.
Yeah,
but
so. The green in me, what happens there? I mean, that's obviously their land. So is it like you're trespassing and then
they scalp you?
What? Oh,
that's it.
So you can face a very hefty lawsuit or a fine off of that, and it can impact the points on your license.
Well, would it be more like if you went and you hunted public land out of season? Or worse.
See, I don't know. So I know there's a stiff penalty, but so the part that The weird part is this. If you're a part of the reservation, part of the tribe, the way I understand it, you're subject to their laws and their rules, but outsiders aren't. So, but we would be handled through the federal court system.
Got it.
Which is never good.
No.
No.
You mean they're not pro hunter?
Well,
No, they are. You can buy what's called a walkthrough pass to them.
Oh, I meant the
Okay.
federal government, the federal
No.
court system.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. So then, one thing is, is there any different kind of waterfowl, different kind of birds you can hunt out there that you couldn't do in the Midwest? Like, I'm thinking like a sandhill crane. That is something I want to do.
Yeah.
So
Monte
bad.
Vista, Colorado, right over the pass. It's an easy drive. They actually have a festival once a year celebrating sandhill cranes because they roll through. So as we get used to this area, as our kiddos get older, like, you know, we're going to venture out more. We'll probably do some sandhill. Some pretty good pheasant hunting on that side. Not as good as like if we can get into Kansas and Nebraska, but you can shoot some plains elk over there too.
Okay.
Which is just a different thing. A lot of speed goat running around. So
That'd be cool.
yeah, but as far as waterfowl, the flyway holds same types of birds Midwest does. The one thing I really miss out here that I could do back home is wood duck.
Oh, really?
And this
I didn't
one, like
think about that.
wood duck hunt, because northern Colorado gets them, but man, Illinois hunter shoots a wood duck and they're just like, yeah, man, look at this cool wood duck I got. No big deal, right?
Mhm.
Like they want the green heads, they want all these things.
Right.
Out here, it's like unheard of. Like guys go after them, like guys back home go after pintails and canvasback and redheads. Like, man, we shoot one,
I'll
it's
have to-
probably the one we're gonna shoot, and they would try to get it mounted.
You got anybody who's got some good elk spots? You tell them I got a good wood duck hole. I'll trade them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Trading that. How long did it take you to learn the Colorado system of like licenses and managing all that? Because I'm going through that right now with Wisconsin, navigating the differences between Illinois and up here.
It took a minute. Now, luckily, when I got here, I mean, I'm a BSer, right?
Right.
So as soon as I got here, I started talking to as many people as we could, and they really helped me guide through it. Now, obviously, none of these guys are like, yeah, I'm going to take the Flatlander with me into the woods this weekend.
Yeah.
And none of them want to do that, but they'll explain to you to make sure that you're following the rules, because that's the one thing we all want. Like if you're going to come into a new state, learn it the best you can. Ask the questions you can. But it still took a few months. But I had to be here for 90 days before I could switch anything to become a resident
Okay.
and hunt. So actually, the first hunt we did, we bought a 5-day non-res waterfowl license to just get out because we were itching. Like we hadn't been out the whole season, so we just
Right.
wanted to go see it.
So how much public access do you guys have out there to do these?
We can hunt. I don't know the acreage, but we have access to 3 different Federal Forest Service big game units.
Okay.
Well, let me rephrase that. We have 3 big game units that comprised of private federal forest land, state land, and reservation land. You have to get a crossing pass from the res. You have to apply for one and pay for one to be able to do that. But I don't know if I could get a picture showing up on.
I mean, like even for your
Honest.
waterfowl spots, like is it a lot of state public land or is it federal?
Lots of SWAs, which is state wildlife area.
Okay.
And the cool thing Colorado did, a lot of people don't like, but I think I actually like it. Colorado, to access any SWA right now, you have to at least buy a fishing license. You
I like it.
cannot. So any paddleboarders,
Yep.
bikers, anybody who
Mhm.
wants to just walk the SWA has to buy a state license. People threw a fit about it, but they're like, hey,
I love it.
our hunters and fishermen are paying for these lands and you guys are benefiting off it. No more.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, that is
Yeah,
great.
no, I think that's great. And and the few people who don't want to pay the what $15 resident license or whatever it is, then don't hunt, don't like it, don't ruin my hunt, don't ruin my fishing spot, son.
Yeah.
Another thought process my mind went to this is like, if you're trying to be that officer managing that spot, how much easier did your job just get? Where realistically, you can now assume that everybody has a fishing license. You know what I mean? Like, you should not be in there if you're not.
Yeah, I can tell you never took an Art Greenberg course. Your mother tells you she loves you. Check it out, man. Like those guys don't assume nothing.
Nothing.
They're going to check you out.
Yeah. Have you been fishing?
I have. That I'll tell you what. Hunting has been an easier transition than fishing for me.
Okay.
I am
you're not running catfish lines out there?
So I got one spot I can actually pull some channel out, like I really do. But trout are the most finicky little, like you can do every single thing right. And that stinking fish, the minute you go to put it back in the water, goes, home. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? Like, if you were a catfish, I could fling you around my head for 30 minutes and then throw you in the water and you're fine. But this little guy, so I love trout. The taste is great, but I'm trying to teach myself how to fly fish this year.
The weakest fish.
They're sensitive. They're sensitive souls, as my wife would call them.
Souls, them trouts.
Yeah, they are good eating though. He's right.
Ryan knows how to fly fish. He's damn good.
I need him to come out and show me some pointers. I'm also trying to get Pritzker to come out here and help me out.
For Illinois folks, it's not JB. It's a guy with college.
You gotta also have to like, Pritzker.
My bad.
They became really good friends during COVID when Pritzker was in our area. Go out there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know Nathan now that you say that.
So
if you're gonna take JB
now.
Yeah, if you're gonna take JB out, stuff happens in the mountains, boys. Like
pretty sure y'all's governor and our governor already hang out. So
yeah,
it seems like if Colorado does it, Illinois does it, and if Illinois does it, Colorado does it.
Yeah, and California's probably in there too. They probably all hang out.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys pass shrooms, by the way? Are you guys is Coloradans able to do mushrooms now in your state?
They always have.
That's always been.
Wait a minute. Are you talking? Wait, what kind of mushrooms are you talking? You talking like chicken of the woods, morels? Or are you talking like
psychedelics?
So okay,
because we had this conversation too. Well,
Jesse's about to go to Colorado.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because like Oregon's done it. We were just talking about it, and you said Illinois is going to like follows that path. I was like, well, Illinois is here right now with all that stuff. The last time we had a conversation about marijuana being legalized out there, when Illinois did it, I was like, okay, well, Harky, you've been in a state that's done it for a while. What does it look like? And you're like, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing with it. So then I'm like, then I read somewhere that Colorado did like legalized magic mushrooms. I'm like, I don't think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing with it. So
yeah, that was passed. It started in Denver County.
Okay.
And now the state can do it, but it is a quote unquote medicinal use.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing on this is y'all know Oregon's experiment with it's over, right?
It's over.
There's a new measure on the Oregon ballots that they're going to recriminalize it. Mm-hmm. They're bringing back all the drug misdemeanors. Mm-hmm. The huge, terrible fallout. It was not the incentive the government was hoping for. Not to make this a political.
Right. I'm shocked, really.
Yeah,
really shocked.
So people weren't seeking the treatment they thought they would because the guilt was removed. I don't know. So
got it.
That's a whole me, you and Cody could probably talk for 3 hours on the implications.
But anyway, the money's from that,
and my role in it.
Money's from your Colorado stuff go to help with your wildlife landscapes and being able to get out and access more state property. Have they take monies from that? You see, I'm trying to transition this conversation now.
Back to it. Yeah. So no, those fees and costs and those taxes were never supposed to be connected. I could be completely wrong, but I do not believe those were ever written to be connected towards SWAs. SWAs will. It could be, but I mean, it's kind of like the lottery. Remember when they first pitched the lottery? All the
Oh,
lottery money for
cool.
every state was supposed to go to
Ooh,
schools.
that reminds me. I should see if
So
I'm a winner right now.
right now, sportsmen are the only ones funding these public lands. We always have been, and hopefully we continue to be able to.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's probably why it wouldn't be a good idea. Is then you're going to get either people into the woods who should not be in the woods if they're on the substance. Like, well, my money paid for this. I'm going to come out and do this while I'm tripping. You know what I
We're
mean?
gonna have that regardless.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, we spiraled there a little bit, and that was my fault. Talking about magic.
Good job, Jesse.
mushrooms.
Good job. Sorry, he
Yeah.
can edit it.
It's all
No,
right.
this is gonna be a great little reel. The benefits of magic mushrooms in the woods.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Now, hey, you did bring a good point, though. Morel season's coming up. Do you guys have those out there?
Actually, yeah. We got some guys in this area that can identify every type of mushroom, past morels and everything. I was talking to him. It's fascinating. Like, this guy has a freezer full of mushrooms he pulled just from National Forest. Morels, chicken of the wood, like all these things, cooks with them all the time. And like hearing the stuff he cooks, I'm sitting here going, I do not know why you are mending fence on a ranch. Like, you should be some kind of chef somewhere.
Yeah, where's your restaurant?
So yeah, they got him out here. I'll be honest with you, I've been putting more time into trying to figure out duck hunting and hunting ungulates than trying to figure out mushrooms right now.
I mean, plus you also have a full-time job, 2 kids, a wife. Like,
Just a little busy sometimes,
why not pick up the mushroom identification and hunting and getting those freezers full? Just add that to your belt.
Well, let's be honest. Like, I will go try to hunt anything before I start just picking up things in the woods, bringing them home and trying to eat them.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yep.
That is more scary in my mind than going after like wolves and mountain lions and bears. Like,
that brings up a subject I want to talk about. You probably know it because it's all over Colorado. Wolves.
Wolves.
I just want your opinion.
So here's the thing. Like, I understand.
Hold on.
You gotta be
Just time
careful.
out. I'm a new guy here. All right. I think I know a little bit what to talk about. For those who don't, though, Colorado reintroduced wolves.
Yep, 5 of them.
5 years ago?
No,
We introduced
recently
5 wolves about
5 wolves.
I want to say, a few months ago.
Okay.
like
It has not
January or
been very
something
long.
like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Released 3 females, 2 males.
And what was their thought behind reintroducing the wolves? What was sold?
The
Anyway?
Yellowstone study. If you're not familiar with the Yellowstone study, from a biological standpoint, from a outdoor standpoint, it is actually a fairly fascinating thing. However, it is extremely controversial. And therefore, everybody's got to kind of be careful how you word things depending on what agencies you work on or work for. So, but the logic is this. When they reintroduced wolves into Yellowstone, they say that it pushed out grazers and ungulates out of areas, made them venture out further, and trees and plants that stopped growing in an area came back. And it just kind of reestablished the natural order of things. Now, here's the one stance nobody can argue is this. There has always been strong logic that you need predators to maintain a balance. You got to have a keystone species to maintain balance. Now, the big debate's going to come with, is that wolves? And so, again, further studies.
One would argue it'd be humans.
It could be, but here's the thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For it to be humans, hunting numbers have to jump. And unfortunately, hunters need to educate themselves a lot more on what it takes to maintain healthy populations. I mean, that opens up a whole new can of worms. Like, now we're talking in those big buck hunters that only go after bucks.
Correct. And then we'll shoot
Then
dead.
you go after. Then you think about laws where it's like earn-a-buck programs.
Yep.
So
I'm a doe shooting son of a gun, so I'll shoot a whole bunch of does.
yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. Like when we were actually mad when we went to draw a tag here that we couldn't get a cow elk. Here is antler only. It's like we could not go after a cow, no either sex.
Really?
We had to go after the bull. Yep. And I was like, oh man, that would be. I really wanted to do a cow for the first one, but
yeah.
Again,
And
there's
that's
so
the
many,
numbers, right? Make sure and carry the young.
yeah. There's just so many layers to these topics and so many implications. And man, I love it. If humans could be that, and people would actually take the time and educate themselves, hunt the right way. But I mean, y'all have been in those hunter forums. You guys have read them. Like,
Oh yeah.
Hunters bicker back and forth about some of the dumbest things. I mean, all the way down to dogs.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, this was coming up. I listened to Joe Rogan's podcast recently with Cam
Haynes and Steven Ranella.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I think it was Cam Haynes that said the downfall of hunting isn't going to be necessarily politics or these regulations. It's going to be hunters fighting each other the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. Or something you alluded to earlier of, well, I'm a hunter in the Midwest. Why would I give a shit if they reintroduce wolves in Colorado?
Yep.
Right. Or why would I care if they are going to ban mountain lion hunting out there? Like, that's not something I'm ever going to do. Why would I care about that? And their kind of thought process was, if you don't care about it and they do it there, they're going to come do it to you too. Right. And then if we don't stop bitching at each other about everything, it's just going to implode internally. So, anywho.
Clay Newcomb's got a good quote. He calls it guarding the gate because he says essentially dog hunting, like using hounds to hunt animals, is like the number one thing they're most throughout the country they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
And a lot of hunters go, well, I don't hunt with dogs. I don't hunt with hounds. I don't care if they take it away. Okay, but what comes after that? Something will come after that. So, so he always says guarding the gate, which I think is a good saying. He says good thing he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just like education across the board. But even out here, it's disappointing when you see young guys trying to learn the sport and those old guys. I mean, I get tired of seeing people. Social media is huge, right? I mean, Cody, I'm pretty sure you started this whole thing primarily social media wise.
Yeah.
How many times you jump on Facebook, join a group to try to get an understanding of something? And I get tired of seeing these young kids going, hey, does anybody have any advice on this? And these older generation going, get out in them woods and teach yourself like we had to. It's like, stop, dude. Like, first off, this kid's going to go do that. Right? He's going to make a mistake. And what are you going to do? You're going to be there yelling at him. He should have learned the right way. It's like he's trying to learn the right way. Yeah. He is going to the best resource he can, which is a public Facebook group with every age group of hunter on there from every experience level, every background. Like you cannot get better information than that. You also can't get worse information than that. So, I mean,
you got to kind of know how to decipher the crap to find that nugget, unfortunately. But you're right.
Hunters, sometimes we're our own worst enemy. Like,
I'd agree. So real quick, I want to go back to the elk hunting thing. So have you had any luck elk hunting?
I've not. So we unfortunately only had an opportunity to go the one season. We did over the counter one tag. So I will say this. Rookie mistake we all make. I've been hunting since I was 8 years old, and I made a huge mistake. I did not pay attention to moon phase for the week we were hunting. Never thought of it. I looked at everything else. I looked at weather, elevation, feeding behavior, bedding behavior. I researched everything, and I'm going to tell you the thing that made or broke my hunt was moon phase for that week. Because of the moon phase, everything was swapped. So we were actually in one of the best spots we could have been. And we were actually in right on their path. And every time I went out, I'm like, this is fresh sign. They came through here. I'm like, but what is going on?
Yeah.
And man, it's public land. You can put a trail cam up if you want, but the likelihood of that thing lasting longer than a week is not very high.
Right.
So no, we didn't have any luck. Come to find out, there was a guy who paid attention to moon phase, hunted the same location, pulled out a beautiful bull from that spot in the exact area we were hunting, and I'm just like, well, now we know. Like, but one issue we have here is I've told you we can hunt 3 units. So we get 1 tag, we have 3 available units, which everybody's like, oh, that's awesome. It's kind of not. Do you know how many prime hunting areas are in those 3 units? And you're just sitting here going, well, we could hunt here or we could hunt here. I think Kelsey and I went to 5 different locations that week trying to hunt, and we should have just stuck to one.
Yeah. You get, what is it called? Hunter's ADHD.
Yeah. 1,000 feet, second guessing everything.
There. Yeah.
The first day we went out, we were actually pushing a bull. We didn't realize it at first, but we were moving, we heard something, and all of a sudden, so bulls will make a certain noise when they get pushed, and we kept hearing that. Now, we weren't quite sure what that noise was at first, so we came back, did some research, but yeah, we had been pushing a bull.
Was it barking?
What's that?
Was it barking?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we had actually pushed that bull up higher elevation into another group of hunters, which they loved it.
Yeah, thank you.
We got our own dogs chasing right here.
Uh-huh.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, but man, it was a fun week.
So do you run into a lot of hunters when you go out there? Because I will tell you that was my biggest, like, I was disappointed in when I went last time, and we hiked in what I thought was some great spots, and like on the map, I'm like, man, ain't nobody gonna be in here. And I get there and there's a horse tail, like, yeah. Let's see if is a problem you guys have as well.
So the Orange Army isn't as bad down here, in my opinion. Like, I got plenty of locals that complain about it, but these are guys who, they've been here since this town had 1 stoplight and only 1 patrol officer on at a time. So I'm sure it's gotten busier since then. I will say this: we are only close enough to see 1 hunter. That was the end of the week. Guy came in. We actually had a great talk with him. The one thing he said about our area hunt, he goes, you scout this all you want, but you do not realize how steep it is. Like, anywhere you go in my area, you are uphill. Like, you're climbing. But I mean, just like anywhere in Colorado, the big thing out here is road hunting. They start cruising the Forest Service roads and, do that fun stuff, which Colorado, it is a legal form of take, depending on the qualifications. They have it for a lot of disabled hunters, so they can still partake. So you just, but certain areas here,
bear hunters do that too, I know. In the spring, a lot of bear hunters, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, we went second season. So not as many people as first season rolled in. I mean, we still ran into a few people driving. Like, we saw plenty of camps off the side of the roads. But as far as, like, running into people in the woods or being worried about that, we didn't really see anybody.
Is that October?
Yeah. Yep. We flew my mom in. She stayed with the little one for the week so we could go. And, yeah, it was a good time.
All right. Well, we're getting close to that hour mark, but I wanted to ask one more question before we move on. What is your best or favorite hunting memory or story? Good, bad, or ugly?
Probably one of them I tell the most often is me and my dad. We are duck hunting, the old family spot, Illinois. A group of teal come in, and we both pop up, shoot. I drop mine right away. He shoots his. It floats to the opposite bank. We did not have a dog at this time, and if anybody knows waterfowl hunting, like, the dog is one of the most frustrating parts and one of the greatest parts at the same time, because it keeps you from looking like a real big Nimrod while you're out there. So Dad takes a little 12-foot boat, skims it across the opposite bank. He is about 3/4 of the way there. All of a sudden, I hear pop. I'm like, what in the world? He keeps going a little further, and all of a sudden, I hear another pop. So I finally pop my head up. I'm like, what is he doing? Well, his bird kept trying to get up. Well, frustration apparently got a hold of Dad because he makes it about another 5 feet. And next thing I know, I hear, he throws that bird back into the blind, and there it goes. Oh, man.
Nothing left of it, huh?
Yeah, and I'm a preteen, so of course, preteens with your dad, you're all puffed up sometimes. And I looked at him, and I go, well, my bird up. I go, how you're supposed to do it? How you shouldn't do it. Yeah, Dad had some good ones.
Were you the dog the rest of the day after that comment to your dad?
Oh, man, I was the dog until we got a dog. Like,
Is that why you got a dog?
That is actually. I got a cousin that's a conservation officer back home. He's always had dogs hunted. They learned from my grandpa. Dad learned from grandpa. I mean, we got millions of stories. That's just one of the funnier ones because anytime I could get at Dad.
Yeah.
I mean, plus there's always the fun ones where you take the new guy hunting and you slide the triple BB into the dove loads on a dove hunt and wait for all the shenanigans to take care.
Yes. Those are fun too. Mm-hmm. Well, Harky, I appreciate you coming on, man. Sounds like it's a great time out in Colorado. Keep us updated on any future hunts you got going on, and hopefully you can get out and figure out that flyway you're under, and maybe a few years get underneath some elk and get some success there. So
yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. And y'all ever want to hunt a new area?
It's on my list. It is still on my list, Harky.
Yeah, it's
as we've talked about.
I love Colorado. Yeah,
wife, kids, and time. That'll be the biggest heartbreak for me. I'm not in the right career. I'm finding out more. So
no, you are not.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. None of us are. Not to make it real.
Yeah, it's
kind of important. I'm in my building, in October and September and November. July, however.
This will be my spiel, though. To let Jesse get a new career path, you can check out our website right now, thethimblewineoutdoors.com, and buy hats like this and more merchandise. And then maybe Jesse can come out of the school eventually and hunt more. Do it for him.
Help me get a plane ticket and some time to go see Harky and do some elk hunting with him.
Mm-hmm. Can that be your next shirt? Do it for Jesse.
Do it for Jesse. There you go. I don't know. The last shirt I did for Jesse and Ryan that Jesse's wearing right now. I still got a lot of them, so check those out right now. $20 on the website.
There's a lot of these left, guys. A lot. Okay.
Except for the big sizes. The big people like them. They do like them.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of small, medium, and larges left. So
come on. 2 shows, the Iowa and the Illinois, and there's a lot left. That's not good for Ryan and I.
Well, thanks again, Harky. I'll have you come back on after maybe after next season. Get some more stories and stuff like that. And then my last thing for you, Harky. This is Jesse's first lead on the podcast. If you had to give him a grade, since he's an educator, what letter grade would you give him?
Letter grade.
We actually do excellent, proficient, needs improvement. We're on satisfactory.
That's stupid. We're going to do that.
Right there, I'm giving him an F, Jess. You were solid.
Yeah.
No.
If we're going to do it, we got to do it correctly. I got to see your evidence. I got to have time to turn in my work samples here, my lesson plan that I totally written down with my questions.
You told us at the beginning you did not prepare. You had nothing written down.
Then I'm professional and I'm honest, right?
I'm going to give you a solid B-. You let us squirrel way too much on some of that.
Yeah, but sometimes when you scroll too much, that's when we get the best conversations. You remember that from school.
True. Yeah.
B- is solid. B- is solid.
I'll take a B-. It's all right. That's performing better than these are right now. So
all right, thanks guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We've been putting out, podcasts. We've done really good since January. putting out these podcasts, and then the vlogs are doing well. And we're going to keep pushing on, guys. Again, check out the website, check out all the content, and we'll see you guys next week.